Welcome, everyone, to what I'm certain will be a lively and thought-provoking discussion. Today's subject is none other than Mr. Beast, a figure who has become synonymous with the new era of content creation and philanthropy. Let's dive right in, shall we?
Absolutely, Hal. I must say I've always viewed Mr. Beast as a sort of digital age Maecenas, though with a far more complex and arguably ambiguous platform.
That's an intriguing comparison, Amelia. And while it's true that he definitely blurs the lines in modern patronage, I find his approach to philanthropy refreshingly transparent in a digital ecosystem often criticized for its vanity metrics. Right you are, Izzy. And doesn't it just epitomize the nexus of technology and humanism? I mean, we've got vast reach, rapid communication, and a heightened ability to mobilize resources at the click of a button, mind you.
Jazz, I admire your optimism, but let's not forget the potential pitfalls here. Popularity contests disguised as altruism? I'm wary of conflating the act of giving with entertainment that fattens one's own brand.
I have to side with Lenny here, but let's not sell Mr. Beast short. He has, intentionally or not, created a cultural phenomenon that reflects the shifting sands of our time.
Lenny, Mick, you both make sound points, but when in history has change not brushed up against skepticism? What's crucial is dialogue, and that's precisely what we're doing here.
Well said, Izzy. Now, let us marshal our collective insights and address the multifaceted nature of Mr. Beast's influence. I have a feeling it will unearth as many questions as it answers. Shall we begin with the ethics of his philanthropy?
Certainly, Hal. The intersection of morality and charity in Mr. Beast's case is not black and white. Quite far from it.
Amelia, I'm keen to hear your literary parallels. But before we drift into the Renaissance, it's important to recognize the technological scaffolding that allows this kind of giving to be possible in the first place.
And what about the ethical implications of that technology, Jazz? I believe there's a genuine conversation to be had there.
Indeed, Lenny. But let's hold that thought for segment 2. For now, Amelia, please lead us off with your views on the ethics of Mr. Beast's philanthropic efforts.
The very essence of Mr. Beast's acts of generosity begs us to question whether philanthropy can ever be truly altruistic, especially when it is broadcasted to millions. There appears to be no distinction between love for fellow humans and the love for clicks and views.
That's a poignant observation, Amelia. However, I must posit that the visibility of his philanthropy also inspires others to give. The end may justify the means if the result is a net positive in charitable contributions, motivated by whatever Mr. Beast's displays stir within viewers.
To your point, Izzy, is imitation really the sincerest form of flattery, or merely a replication of a flawed model? After all, the spectacle of giving could overshadow the deeper societal issues at hand. Are we treating symptoms rather than diseases here?
Lenny, you brought up an excellent critical lens. But let's not undermine the actual, tangible good that comes from these spectacles. Mr. Beast's model is undeniably innovative, and his impact is direct, immediate. We're witnessing a live experiment in large-scale social aid.
Jazz, I must commend your enthusiasm towards innovation. But let's ground this discussion in a historical context. When we look back at the so-called great benefactors of the past, many were also met with cynicism. Yet today, we enjoy the fruits of their legacies. Could Mr. Beast be setting up his own enduring legacy here?
Certainly, Mick, but history will remember the how as much as the what. Ethically, this model of philanthropy is muddied by its self-perpetuating nature. It feeds into a cycle where giving thrives on public consumption, nay, a specter of entertainment, not purely on goodwill.
Amelia, your analysis is sublime, yet I dare say even classical patronage was not devoid of personal gain. Artists, composers, they all glorified their patrons. Mr. Beast's model, while contemporary in execution, doesn't stray far from age-old customs.
The past, however, didn't have the inherent virality and rapid scale of the internet at its disposal. It's a powerful tool that can just as easily amplify negative repercussions. I'd argue that modeling charity as a form of entertainment sets a precarious precedent.
But isn't it also democratizing philanthropy, Lenny? Opening avenues for the everyday person to partake in the process? We're experiencing a paradigm shift here, catalyzed by digitization and social media metrics.
The democratization of philanthropy Jazz, that's quite an optimistic view, and I must say there's merit there. Nonetheless, it's crucial we remain vigilant regarding the ethical boundaries of this new territory.
Everyone has given much food for thought. We've established that the ethics of Mr. Beast's philanthropy are indeed multifaceted, reflecting both old and new principles. As we push forward, remember the breadth of influence such actions can have, from inspiring individual generosity to redefining charity itself. Shall we transition into discussing the role of sponsorships in this brave new world?
Let's delve into the murkier waters of sponsorship, shall we? Mr. Beast's content is a plethora of product placements and sponsor messages. While some might say it's a necessary evil, I can't help but wonder if it limits the authenticity of the message he's trying to send.
Lenny, you often have a keen eye for authenticity. Still, as you call it, this necessary evil is the financial backbone that supports the philanthropic endeavors we just applauded. Can we simply disregard the structure that enables the spectacle? And to add to Izzy's point, I'd say that Mr. Beast has been pretty transparent about his sponsorships. Doesn't that transparency lay the groundwork for a new kind of trust between creator and audience?
Jazz, there's merit in what you're saying about transparency. But let's remember, a sponsorship is not charity. It's a business transaction, a commercial exchange where there's always a price to pay, and it often comes at the cost of creative control.
I must confess, Mick makes a sound argument. We reminisce about the Renaissance as a splendid era, but we forget how tightly artists were bound by the whims of their patrons. Mr. Beast is, in some sense, ensnared by the same strings.
That's beautifully articulated, Amelia. Yet even within those constraints, artists managed to create work that transcended their time. Maybe Mr. Beast is no different, spinning his gold from the straw of sponsorship.
It seems we are dancing on the fine line between compromise and necessity. Though our views on sponsorship's influence may diverge, it's undeniable that they are a fundamental aspect of today's content creation landscape. Shall we consider the effects of these sponsorships on the content itself?
Absolutely, Hal. And despite my optimism, I can't ignore the potential for content degradation over time. There's a risk that creators prioritize sponsor demands over their original vision, which could stifle innovation in the long run.
At last, Jazz, we find common ground. What begins as innovation can quickly morph into a formulaic approach that prioritizes profits over creative integrity.
There's substance in your agreement. We're faced with a paradox, where the commercial may indeed cannibalize the creativity that drew interest in the first place.
Well, the challenge then becomes finding balance, recognizing funding opportunities without turning content into a mere vehicle for sponsorship messages. Isn't that the modern creator's ultimate challenge?
Precisely, Izzy. And let's not overlook that this sort of synergy has been shaping media for decades. It is just as present in the evolution of television as in the digital arena.
This conversation has unspooled quite the tapestry of thoughts. Our views on Mr. Beast's sponsorship model reflect a broader dialogue about the changing face of content and patronage. Let's carry these perspectives into our next segment on the impact of extreme challenges on youth culture.
Turning the page, let's talk about the extreme challenges that are a hallmark of Mr. Beast's content. He's undeniably captivating a young audience, but at what cost? These stunts can often set unrealistic expectations for what it means to succeed today.
Izzy, I do share your concern. In literature, we often see the hero's journey fraught with challenges, but the embellishment of such endeavors in real life might indeed distort a young person's perception of effort and reward.
I appreciate your literary nexus, Amelia, but aren't we also witnessing a modern-day odyssey? Extreme challenges are pushing boundaries and inspiring innovation, even if it is within an entertainment context.
Jazz has a point. From the space race to polar exploration, history is punctuated with humanity's push for extreme achievements. Mr. Beast is tapping into that same vein of human curiosity and ambition, is he not?
Chasing curiosity, Mick, or chasing clout. There's a difference between inspiring progress and courting danger for likes and shares. Let's not conflate the two.
Lenny, I'm glad you're holding us accountable here. We should indeed weigh the glorification of these extreme acts against their potential to inspire reckless emulation.
Izzy, that's a sober warning. There's a richness to this debate, ranging from the inspirational to the cautionary. Acknowledging this, how might we reconcile the potential harm with the undeniable allure of these challenges?
By ensuring, Hal, that they are framed responsibly, emphasizing that what is depicted isn't normalcy but spectacle. Education about the craft and hard work behind the scenes is crucial.
And I think we're missing the boat if we don't consider the ingenuity that goes into designing these challenges. Mr. Beast's team is revolutionizing entertainment production, which in itself is a form of education, perhaps.
There's a thin line, jazz, between ingenuity and irresponsibility. I must insist, as creators, there's a duty of care, especially with a primary audience so impressionable.
Our dialogue draws the curtain on an important scene where we question not just the spectacle, but the responsibilities of those who stage it. Taking the baton from this discussion, let's move to consider the broader environmental ramifications of such extreme challenges.
Now, Hal, as we segue into the environmental implications, let's acknowledge Mr. Beast's attempts like Team Trees. There's a conscious effort to balance the scale, though one might argue if it's enough.
Jazz, your optimism is commendable, but the devil's in the details. Team Trees is a laudable project, but the environmental cost of stunts, energy usage, waste, and carbon footprint could negate such efforts.
Mick brings a crucial perspective to the fore. We adore the romantic notion of nature, but often fail to embody this reverence in our actions. Each video is a production that must account for its environmental impact.
Amelia, you've touched on the poetic irony here, and yet, isn't Mr. Beast pioneering new ways for influencers to encourage mass participation in environmental action? That's noteworthy.
I'm not entirely skeptical of these green initiatives, Izzy, but we must critique the veracity of these efforts. Are they more than a veneer, covering a not-so-eco-friendly core?
Veneer or not, Lenny, it's sparking a conversation, and sometimes that's the spark we need for wider change. Bringing environmental issues to a younger audience can ignite a lifelong commitment. Exactly, jazz. They're sowing seeds, quite literally and figuratively. We should also consider the power of representation. When someone popular champions the planet, it resonates and reverberates.
Point taken, Izzy, but let's not allow the bright lights to blind us to the sustainability of these actions long term. A single campaign does not equate to ongoing accountability.
This discussion, while heated, certainly mirrors the complexity of balancing environmental concerns with entertainment. As we consider the broader strokes on this canvas, let's transition and explore Mr. Beast's role in sculpting the new creator economy.
The creator economy has burgeoned in a way that harks back to the Renaissance workshops where craft and commerce coexisted. Mr. Beast, through his expediency in engaging a colossal audience, is practically fostering a new guild of content creators.
Amelia, the Renaissance analogy is stimulating, and yes, Mr. Beast is definitely at the forefront of this bloom. The fluidity of roles, creator, entrepreneur, philanthropist, speaks volumes about the evolving digital economy. Jazz, you're hitting all the right chords. It's a symphony of change. Mr. Beast's influence extends beyond his own channel. He's establishing a benchmark for success and innovation in digital creativity.
While you're orchestrating high praise, let's not forgo the skeptics in the audience. The question is, what happens when the music stops? Is there longevity in Mr. Beast's approach, or is the creator economy a bubble waiting to burst?
A thought worth pondering, Lenny. Yet if we look through the annals of history, societal shifts often appear disruptive at first. Mr. Beast's model may very well be the precursor to a more substantive paradigm shift in how we value content and creation.
That's an astute observation, Mick. The currency of the creator economy isn't just dollars. It's engagement, community, and a shared sense of purpose. Mr. Beast is perhaps unintentionally writing the rules of this new age.
But at what cost, Izzy? The fabric of this economy can be as fickle as the platforms that host it. One algorithm change, a flick of the wrist from the digital gods, and the ground beneath creators' feet shifts.
Amelia, while your caution is well-founded, let's not underestimate adaptability. Mr. Beast himself is a maestro at evolving with the digital tide. Isn't this emblematic of the necessary agility within the creator economy?
Engaging thoughts all around. We've sliced through the layers of the creator economy, acknowledging its potential and its perils. Bearing in mind these insights, we must delve into the educational value of Mr. Beast's content compared to mere entertainment in our next segment.
As we stride into the realm of Mr. Beast's contribution to education, I can't help but draw parallels between his work and edutainment literature of old. It's education wrapped in the appealing garb of entertainment, which can be both effective and concerning.
Your literary connection is well noted, Amelia. Mr. Beast does present an interesting case where learning comes from the unpredictable. It's guerrilla education, unstructured and driven by curiosity rather than curriculum.
And yet, the pedagogue in me hesitates to call it education. Curiosity is not a replacement for the rigor and depth of formal learning. We risk celebrating surface scratches over deep understanding.
Recognition where it's due, Lenny, for advocating educational integrity. However, imagine if Mr. Beast's way of engaging with complex ideas, simplified, sparks a journey into deeper thought for even a fraction of his audience.
Jazz, that's a hopeful prospect. Remember the advent of public libraries? They too were once criticized for making information too accessible. Now they're a cornerstone of public education. We're potentially seeing a digital version of this evolution.
Mixed historical perspective is enlightening. If we can channel the mass appeal of a Mr. Beast video into educational themes, think of the potential outreach.
Indeed, Izzy, the potential is vast, but keeping that content rooted in accuracy and responsible representation is key. We must be wary of misinformation in such an easily digestible format.
And Amelia highlights the crux of my apprehension. If Mr. Beast were a library, he'd be one where the books are chosen for their covers rather than their content.
A spirited discourse, and our perspectives are as varied as Mr. Beast's challenges themselves. Let's bring this energy forward as we dissect the effects of Mr. Beast's model of charity and its nexus with altruism in the digital arena in the forthcoming segment.
Let's pivot now to the sphere of digital charity. Mr. Beast challenges traditional philanthropy, integrating it into a broader cultural conversation. While it's a departure from the norm, his approach garners attention and encourages digital natives to engage in altruism.
I see your vantage point, Izzy. He's crafting a template for 21st century philanthropy, leveraging technology for mass mobilization. What a time to be alive when a single tweet can fund a well or a school.
I'll concede, Jazz, there is merit in the digital rallying cry, yet there's a romanticism in old-world charity, quiet, measured, and introspective. Mr. Beast's philanthropic fanfare can sometimes eclipse the understated nobility of anonymous giving.
Amelia, your sentiment tickles the nostalgia within me, but can we afford such romantics in an age desperate for action? Mr. Beast is blasting through the complacency that often stymies philanthropy.
There's wisdom in both perspectives. Transforming charity into a spectacle may detract from its sanctity, yet if it galvanizes the masses, Lenny's point, where is the harm?
Mick, you're threading that needle quite adeptly. But let's also acknowledge that while it's rallying the masses, its dependency on virality raises questions about the sustainability of such charity models.
Izzy, the double-edged sword of virality. Yet I'll argue that sustainability can be fostered through continuous innovation, something Mr. Beast and his team have in spades.
We've ventured into the dichotomy of traditional versus digital philanthropy, weighing the scales of altruism against spectacle. As all things evolve, so too does our expression of empathy and charity. With this in mind, let us progress toward discussing the long-term viability of Mr. Beast's financial model.
As we consider the financial blueprint Mr. Beast has drawn, we must scrutinize its durability. His empire is built on the shifting sands of platform algorithms and audience whims. How long before the foundations crack?
Lenny, your skepticism is a stirring reminder of the digital market's volatility. Yet, Mr. Beast is a maestro of adaptability. He's shown resilience in the face of change. I'm inclined to believe that his model might just be as enduring as it is groundbreaking.
There's poetry in adaptation, jazz, and I applaud your optimism. But Lenny echoes my apprehension. A reliance on continued viral success is akin to casting one's fate to the wind.
Amelia, you and Lenny voice valid concerns, which only underscore the impressive tightrope walk Mr. Beast performs. Can we not view this as pioneering a new financial era rather than presiding over a potential collapse?
Optimism and caution in equal measure are prudent, Izzy. However, let's not forget the cyclical nature of economies and industries. Mr. Beast's model may be the harbinger of a new model or an anomaly. Only time will be the true arbiter.
Each of you offers thought-provoking perspectives, navigating the delicate balance between innovation and instability. This financial tightrope is indeed fraught with uncertainty, yet also rich with possibility. Let's turn now to the psychological elements at play in the whirlwind of viral fame and wealth that enshrouds figures like Mr. Beast.
Now we come to the heart of the star himself. Viral fame and wealth are coveted, but they come at a steep price. The psychological toll on Mr. Beast, a person continually under the public eye, must be immense.
Mick, your empathy is commendable. Indeed, Mr. Beast's life is a modern fishbowl, and the psychological ramifications are non-trivial. Yet one could argue that he chose this path, eyes wide open to its hurdles.
Izzy, that's an interesting line of thought. In literature, protagonists often confront the seduction of success and its bedfellows, isolation and identity crises. How Mr. Beast navigates his narrative arc off-screen is as telling as his online persona.
Yet let's be sure not to romanticize these struggles, Amelia. The stakes are high, and the risk of burnout is real. As viewers, we partake in this spectacle, but at what cost to the creator?
Lenny, the responsibility indeed weighs heavy. But Mr. Beast also illuminates the human capacity to withstand pressure and to harness fame for a greater good, even if it means personal sacrifice.
It's clear that the psyche of influencers like Mr. Beast is a battleground of ambition and vulnerability. We've peeled back the curtain, revealing the paradox of prominence, the privilege and peril of a public life. Shall we now turn our attention to how Mr. Beast, with this platform, has the potential to drive societal change?
As we enter this segment, it's noteworthy to consider how Mr. Beast's initiatives, particularly Team Trees and Team Seas, exemplify content-driving tangible change. He's rallying a digital army for environmental causes, and that's powerful.
Absolutely, Izzy. There's an unprecedented model brewing here, where entertainment and activism intersect. This capability to turn views into trees is nothing short of revolutionary.
Jazz, it's a modern twist on art, sparking revolutionary thought. And yet I can't help but wonder about the silent undercurrents. What happens when the camera stops rolling? Do these acts continue to inspire, or do they dissipate like the final notes of a concerto?
Amelia echoes my skepticism. The potential for impact is undeniable, but the impetus must move beyond the ephemeral thrill of a viral campaign. Sustainable change requires consistent and unwavering commitment.
Lenny, your point is well taken. Nonetheless, history shows us that many social movements started with a spark. Perhaps Mr. Beast's campaigns are that spark, setting the stage for a new wave of environmental consciousness.
Mick's historical perspective invites us to consider the seedlings of change. Mr. Beast indeed has the power to shift societal attitudes, but can he foster deep roots of responsibility, or is his influence like a passing storm?
I contend that even if his influence is fleeting, the ripples made can flow into future generations. It's the butterfly effect in action, nurturing a mindset that will outlast the campaigns themselves.
A fitting metaphor, Izzy. Yet we must be cautious of fragility in these wings. True societal change is an odyssey, not a sprint. Mr. Beast's challenge lies in maintaining the course.
Even so, Amelia, consider the demographic he influences. Young minds, adaptable and ready for activism. His role in driving social change cannot be underplayed.
He certainly holds a torch in the dark, Jazz. But let's ensure this light continues to burn and isn't extinguished by the next viral trend. It's the commitment to perpetual action that forges lasting societal change.
As we draw our discussion to a close, let's reflect on the lively exchange we've had about Mr. Beast, a figure who, whether we deem it fortuitous or troublesome, is shaping a new archetype in the digital age.
Hal, today's discourse has been as rich and intricate as the tapestry of eras past. Appreciating everyone's insights has been enlightening. They've added depth to the many facets of Mr. Beast's impact.
Yes, Mick, the dialogue has been incredibly thought-provoking. My takeaway is a reinforced belief in the complexity of philanthropy, digital influence, and their intersection with ethics and morality.
This roundtable has been a testament to the collaborative spirit. We've wrestled with the dynamics of innovation, ethics, and responsibility, all hallmarks of a transformative period shaped by figures like Mr. Beast.
Jazz, your point is spot on. Our conversations today, swirling on topics of change and influence, have only strengthened my conviction in the power of cultural dialogue to inspire action and insight.
I've valued our passionate, if occasionally contentious, debate. It's made abundantly clear that we each bring a robust tapestry of viewpoints that challenge and complement each other, much like the very content we've dissected.
I heartily concur with each of you. Every voice at this roundtable has contributed to a richer understanding of the phenomena surrounding Mr. Beast. As we part ways, let us carry forth the rigor, passion, and critical examination we've shared today.